this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to harness the energy of the moon to powerfully create what you want in your life. I'm going to show you why when a full moon is happening, that is the best time to amplify your emotion in the direction of what you want to create. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the way to harness the energy of the moon to put it in the direction of whatever you want to create in your life. Now, this is something that I held back from making for a long time because I wanted to understand it at a different level. And for a couple months, I learned about it. I've always known, not always, but I'd say for the past couple years at least, since I've really been practicing LOA material and how to create what I want in my life, I've understood that during the full moon is when, in general, there is an amplification of emotion. Now, back in the day, they used to have that term that somebody would be a lunatic, luna meaning moon, when it was a full moon. It is generally known that there is more violence that happens around a full moon. There is an increase in certain type of things that happen. And one of the reasons being is because the moon has an electromagnetic type energy. And actually the electromagnetic energy of the moon isn't as powerful as we think. It's more so understanding that what the moon represents to our collective consciousness. When we think of it, think of the sun as almost like the outer expression of who we are, how that affects our outer expression, being more of like an introvert. Whereas more the moon represents the emotions that we have. The moon represents our inner feeling, our inner emotion. Similar to like if you were to look up your astrology on your sun sign and your moon sign is more of the idea of the energy or the emotions that you feel. Now in a similar way, think of the moon in the same way. Now our bodies are 70% water or more. The earth is 70% more of water. And the idea is that when the moon is a full moon, the tides, it affects the tides in a way. Think of water, which represents emotion. In the same way, we are the same percentage of water, close to it, macrocosm, microcosm. The idea of what I'm trying to say basically is that the moon does affect our emotions. Now the cool thing is that the moon, when it's a full moon especially, that's when it will most powerfully amplify whatever we are feeling. So if you're feeling negative emotion, it will amplify that. If you're feeling positive emotion, it will amplify it. During a full moon, that is the best time to become very clear and discerning with where you put your attention and what kind of activities you do. So you could almost use it as something that gives you like a barometer for how you could be feeling in the present moment, like how can I feel even better? But understand that what I recommend you do anytime there is a full moon is you get very clear on your intentions of what you want to experience in your life, and you start to generate the emotion of it. And because the energy of the moon is amplifying the emotion of how you feel, of how the planet feels, with the water on the planet and water representing emotion, what you can do is start to feel into the emotions, and it will be even easier than ever. So what you want to do is you want to put your hands over your heart like this. The Heart Maths Institute has shown that the electromagnetic energy of the heart is thousands of times more powerful than that of the head. And what you want to do is you want to focus on that area. Wherever you put your focus is where energy grows. So if you put the focus, your thoughts are powerful. If you put the focus on maybe a green orb, a green sphere inside of your heart center growing more and more powerful, more and more green, and starting to glow more and more, you will start to feel your heart center. I'm doing it right now as I'm speaking to you, and I can feel my heart center start to expand more and more. So what I do, because today is a full moon when I'm filming this, I don't know when this video will go up, but it is a full moon. And the idea is I can even feel the energy. Even as I woke up this morning, I could feel it inside my heart, because when I went to bed last night, that's also what I did, is I felt that emotion. And what you want to do is you want to feel that green sphere, whatever that energy color is to you. To me, it represents the heart chakra, so it's green. I imagine it becoming more and more powerful. And what I do is I do a little bit of almost what's called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Now, this is like my own way of infusing something into it, but what I do is I imagine it in my mind, and more so than just visualizing it, I feel it from my senses. I feel as if I've already achieved my goals, and I feel that emotion right now in the present moment. And what I do is I imagine the color of that green sphere becoming brighter and brighter. I imagine things around me becoming more and more vivid. So whether that's seeing the colors brighter and brighter. Imagining the sounds getting louder and louder. You see how I'm doing that right now? It's increasing the sensational input of how you perceive it, and by doing that, that's the NLP. You imagine the colors getting brighter and brighter. Imagine that sphere growing larger and larger. Imagine the sounds around you of the ideal reality you want to experience getting louder and louder. And as you do that, you start to connect to that part of you, and you start to bring that more into your life experience. So this is an important part to understand. Now, in astrology in general, I'm not an expert with astrology versus like just understanding when the moon is a full moon, but I know that there are certain times of when your energy can be the most potent. And every single month, what I would recommend is when it is a full moon, that you focus on what you want. This is a very creative space as well. So there's a lot of, I remember watching one musician who said anytime it's a full moon, he does not go to sleep that night. Now, I'm not recommending you don't go to sleep at night, but that day, he says, I mean, that's what he does, he's a musician, he will write the whole entire, he will play, he will become inspired the whole day, like the 1 or 2 days of the full moon, the main day that's a full moon, but before or after, when it's very powerful, he will focus on creativity, and by him focusing on creativity, he will get more and more of it. So this is also, let's say that maybe you're feeling a negative emotion right now, and you don't want to create more negativity in your life. Now, the good thing is that positive emotion is more powerful than negative emotion, because positive emotion is integrative. It integrates you into more of who you are, and that energy is much more potent than the separation of negativity. Now, I've talked about this as well recently, but don't think of positive as being good or bad. Think of positive more so as positive being connective and negative being disconnective. Something that either makes you feel more integrated with who you are or separated from who you are. And as you start to understand that, you can see that positive is more powerful anyways, but what you can then begin to do is integrate more into the alignment of how you prefer to be. Let the full moon represent to you alignment, because when you are aligned with how you prefer to be, when you are aligned to your emotions, that's where the power really is. That's where you start to really create from a very powerful place. Now, so if you're feeling negativity, that's okay. Be aware of it, because the moment you're aware of you negatively feeling anything, negatively meaning separated from who you are, not aligned to the true essence of who you are, then what you begin to do is you start to shift the focus, observe it, and start to focus on something that feels better. You start to move up this vibrational ladder, this vibrational consciousness feeling. You observe it. Observing is where you catch yourself, and observing is where you start to take the power away from where it priorly was. So this is about having that awareness. Now, then you can start to focus on what you want. Now, how and what do I recommend you do, the actual ritual that you do for this? Well, let me tell you first off what I do anytime it's a full moon. I actually do this every single night, even if there's no moon. But what I do is I go to a close by park at where I live here in Vegas. There's 3 or 4 parks, like community parks close to my house, which is nice. So what I do is I go there, I ground my feet into the grass, and what I'll normally do is I'll either stand up and look at the moon for at least 5 or 10 minutes, or I'll sit down and lay down and look at the moon. And as I look into the moon, I imagine myself connecting with more of my goals, connecting with more of the collective consciousness. To me, the moon also represents the inner collective consciousness of how the collective consciousness, so just not how I feel, but how everybody feels, but the inner emotion of how everybody feels. I just imagine that, and I imagine myself being able to raise my own vibration, be able to help people, because that's what I do on YouTube. And I look at that moon, and I do that for normally about 5 or 10 minutes. So what you could do is you could find some grass nearby, something more natural, sit on it, lay on it if you want to, maybe get a towel if you don't feel comfortable laying laying just on the grass, and look up at the moon and connect to the energy of the moon. And I know that sounds sometimes very esoteric for a lot of people, but I found in my own life that is something that's very powerful. So what I do is I stare at the moon, I connect to it, I have that intention, I feel the energy inside my heart, and then what I normally do is that I'll go back to my house, I'll get ready for bed or whatever. I do that almost like within half an hour going to bed. I also set the intention that I have great dreams and I remember my dreams. That's something I found powerful too. Then what I do is, as I'm meditating, I meditate, on expanding my heart center. I meditate on having already achieved my goals, the end result. But this is the kicker, and this is something that I've shared before, but you want to for sure do this on the night of the full moon. Before you're going to bed, or as you're going to bed, like literally as you're laying down to bed, as you're going to sleep at night, I recommend you either put your hands over your heart like this, and you start to visualize and feel. The reason you do that is because you're able to feel more into it. You feel as if you've already achieved your goals. You imagine the colors getting brighter and brighter. You imagine the sounds getting louder and louder. That will help you to feel more into it. And imagine you are already the person that you want and prefer to be. And connect to that, because as you're going to bed at night, you're also going from the more conscious brainwave states into the deeper conscious brainwave states. And in that deeper conscious brainwave, the deeper subconscious brainwave state, that's where you influence yourself in a very powerful way. Because emotion is even more powerful on the full moon, you want to use it to influence and to change your subconscious mind, because that's what architects the reality within you live in which you live in. So if you do that, it will start to change your life in a very powerful way. When you go to bed tonight, if it's a full moon, if in general, that's a powerful technique you can use in general, but start to feel into that emotion. Start to realize that, imagine yourself as already the person you want to be. Give yourself permission to feel that satisfaction, to feel that love right now. And start to put that feeling into your body. Emotion is the language the subconscious mind speaks in. And the best time to influence your subconscious mind is as you're going to bed at night. And even more so when it is a full moon. Then you're really going to be harnessing the energy of the full moon in the most powerful way. Now, if you want a guided meditation that will help you to raise your vibrational set point, this is something I recommend you listen to the night of the full moon as well. This will help you to raise your vibrational set point and allow you to feel more into your heart center. And as you raise your vibration, you're creating from a much more powerful place, and you're also amplifying the emotion within you, which is what will help you manifest very fast. Some of the top of the description box below is absolutely free. You can download it. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram, so if you want to see me and interact with me and ask me questions, go ahead and follow me. I'll go ahead and link Instagram over here as well. You can follow me there, and we can have more of an interaction type dialogue there. I've been doing them more probably every couple of days. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit that little notification here so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love.